Before the British set foot in Kenya, before trains roared across the savannah, a Kamba woman named Syokimau warned of it all. She spoke of iron snakes, pale strangers, and a future that would change her people forever. This isn't fiction. It's one of Africa's most haunting, real-life prophecies. Watch the story unfold. In the heart of Ukambani, long before the iron rails carved through the red soil, before the roar of the steam engine echoed through the hills, there lived a woman whose eyes saw far beyond her time. Her name was Syokimau. Syokimau was no ordinary woman. Born into the Kamba community, a people known for their traders, warriors, and oral storytellers, she was gifted with a rare and powerful sight. She was what the Kamba called a mundu mue, a prophet, a seer, a bridge between the living and the spirit world. From a young age, Syokimau would retreat to quiet places, hilltops, forests, sacred groves, where she would fall into trances and return with messages, visions, warnings. Sometimes she would speak of things close to home, a coming drought, a family dispute, a death. Other times, her visions stretched far into a future no one else could imagine. Her prophecies were often poetic and layered with metaphor. The people were used to dreamers, but Syokimau was different. She spoke with conviction, clarity, and a kind of authority that unsettled even the bravest elders. Some dismissed her, others feared her. But as time passed, events began to unfold that echoed her strange words. One day, Syokimau gathered the council of elders. With a grave voice, she told them of a vision, one more haunting than anything she had ever seen. "A people will come," she said, "whose skin is like chalk, whose language is like the chirping of birds. They will carry fire in sticks and thunder in their voices. They will not walk. They will ride a long snake made of metal, one that breathes smoke and eats the earth as it moves." She continued, "They will divide our land. They will not ask. They will build huts of stone and draw lines on our soil. They will not understand our ways, and we will forget many of them." The elders were stunned. They had never heard such madness. A metal snake? Pale men who spit fire? It was too strange. Some accused her of witchcraft. Others begged her to explain. But Syokimau could only say what she had seen. Years passed. Her words lingered like smoke in the air, not quite forgotten, but set aside. Then came the rumors, first from the coast, Mombasa. Pale-skinned men had landed. They brought strange tools and even stranger rules. They carried guns, sticks that spit fire. Their boats were enormous and their language incomprehensible. They began to build. And then the earth began to tremble. Metal tracks were laid across the land. Massive machines arrived, locomotives. The railway project had begun. It was 1896. The British were constructing the Uganda Railway, later called the Lunatic Express. The Iron Snake had arrived. It hissed and roared, belched smoke, and tore across hills and valleys. And just like that, Syokimau's vision came to life. Her prophecy was no longer a strange tale. It was real. As the British tightened their grip on the land, imposing new laws, introducing taxes, and seizing territory, many Kamba people remembered Syokimau's warning. Some said she had tried to prepare them. Others regretted not listening. Colonialism swept across Kenya like a wildfire. Traditions, languages, and systems were altered or erased. The world Syokimau had known began to vanish. Yet through it all, her name lived on. She became a symbol, not of resistance, like a warrior with a spear, but of foresight, of spiritual power, of the ancient ability to read time like a map. Today, Syokimau's name graces a town and a modern train station just outside Nairobi. Every day, passengers board trains at Syokimau railway station, a strange echo of her prophecy. But who was she really? Was she gifted with true supernatural sight? Or was she simply a wise observer of the natural world, attuned to the shifting patterns of people, animals, and winds? Some believe she was chosen by the spirits, part of a long line of seers who walk between the world of the living and the world of the ancestors. Others argue she used symbols, logic, and the oral traditions of her people to sense the coming of change. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. Syokimau's story survives because it resonates. In an age of rapid transformation, her voice was a beacon. Her vision was a warning. She did not hold a sword or lead a rebellion, but her words endured long after kings and empires crumbled. Her story reminds us that power does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers through the mouths of women in quiet hills, through stories told by firelight, through names written not in books, but in the memory of the land. Syokimau, the woman who saw tomorrow, remains a towering figure in the world of African legends. And perhaps, just perhaps, her spirit still watches the land she once walked, listening, waiting, seeing what others do not. Stories connect us to our past, shape our present, and guide our future. African Legends and Stories is more than just storytelling. It is a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, between tradition and modernity. Subscribe now and be part of this journey. Like, comment, and share to keep these legends alive. This is African Legends and Stories, where the past speaks and the future listens.